So, you thought that making SIBO yogurt just turned out to be like a science experiment? Well, guess what? You can make decent looking SIBO yogurt that tastes absolutely fantastic. This is the end result of a very successful but very long process. So it's going to take you two cookings of this stuff to get to the point where it looks good like this. Now, what are you going to need? You're going to need at least a quart of heavy cream or double cream, and you're going to need at least a half a quart. No. Yeah. We're going to use a quart of half and half, or a quart of half and half, a quart of heavy cream or double cream. Or if you're in the UK or you're in a place where they do not have half and half, you're going to need a quart and a half of heavy cream or double cream, and you're going to need a half a quart of whole milk. So if you have double cream, maybe add a little bit more whole milk to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to do this process twice. We're going to get the first part. We're going to get our initial bacteria yogurt. It's going to look like complete crap. Then we're going to take that, the good stuff that comes out of that, we're going to add it into the second batch of yogurt. And then that's where we get this good looking stuff. And it tastes awesome. It tastes awesome. I just can't get over the taste. It's so good. So come with us on this journey. It turns out pretty good. You just have to have a little bit of patience, but you can get to this point. And then once you're on this point, you're on easy street and you're good to go for the rest of your journey. All right, thanks, and come along. Good morning. How are y'all? Well, today we are going to make a yogurt based on Dr. Davis's protocol that he invented for SIBO, to treat small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which is essentially the bad bacteria has exploded up into the small intestine and possibly up into the stomach, and is probably causing you a lot of issues, not only with your gut, but it could be causing issues with your gums. It could be causing issues with memory. It could also cause issues with sleeping, a whole host of issues that they're still trying to study and understand. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the three bacteria that are now in his protocol, which is B. subtilis, l.reuteri, and gasseri, right? Lactobacillus gasseri, and specifically BNR 17, that variety. What we're going to do is put these in here. We're going to use a thicker yogurt with this one, thicker milk, and we're going to create kinds of, I like to call it a cheesy method, but it's definitely thicker and fattier than the normal method that he has. Now, the method, if you want to, you can use this same method to use for just regular yogurt. That would just use, you would use a quart. So these would both be half and half. Now, if you live in a country that they don't have half and half is whole milk and half heavy cream. You would use whole milk and a heavy cream, or if you're in the UK, that would be double cream. Y'all are lucky that you get that. That's some good stuff. So, but why are we doing this? So the reason we're doing it is one, to get rid of that SIBO. So this is like a 30-day program. But the reason we're doing this is that you want to, instead of just taking these pills and this stuff, which you're only going to get about 20 billion each time you take it, which you're not going to get that many. That's not going to end up in your gut. If you just take it straight, it's just not going to end up like that. But what we're doing is we're increasing this up to 36 hours, and you see how it doubles. So it starts at 20 billion, goes all the way up to 81 trillion. And that's just kind of like a worst case scenario. So you're taking the yogurt, you are putting into a nice vessel with this bacteria, will now have a nice vessel to travel down through this very dangerous, through your mouth, your throat, stomach, and into your small intestine, where it can then start to colonize and kill off the bad bacteria that's in there. And that's kind of get you back to where you need to be. And you probably, within a week, you're going to see amazing results of this. So what do you need? So you need the B. subtilis, the l.reuteri, and a gasseri. So you need those. You can use different brands. These are brands that I tend to like, so that's why I'm using them. You're going to need, for this, you'll need a half a quart of heavy cream, half quart of half and half, and you're going to need inulin. Inulin is what we're going to use to help this bacteria grow for the first time. So what I'm going to do, now I've tried this before and I think I added too much bacteria and it just did not go well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put half of what I did initially and put that in there. So I've got a tablet here, and so I'm going to get half of this in here, approximately, right? Kind of hard to figure out a half, and then I'm going to put half of this in here. And since we're adding 3 different types of bacteria, it's a lot of bacteria in one cup. Now, the funny thing is, when I started this, I didn't really understand the SIBO. I hadn't read his book yet, and need to get that thing out of there. And I ended up just taking l.reuteri. Got some more in there. This always takes a lot of time. Sorry that this is taking longer than it should. I hate these pills. Okay, that's the one gripe I have about this, is that I really am not a fan of these pills. Well, that's good enough for government work. Okay, so normally I would put 1 scoop but I'm gonna get about a half this scoop. Now this comes out brown. This is a little bit different, so first time I've seen that. Okay, we got that. These are completed. Let's move these out of the way. Now l.reuteri, this is a great bacteria. Not only is it going to push out the bad bacteria, it's going to help you with being a better person, which is kind of weird, but your empathy is going to dramatically improve after eating this over some time. It's weird, but it's true. Okay, so we got our bacteria in here. These are done. Let's get these out of the way. Now we're going to add our inulin, and with this you would typically add about let's see, third time is it a charm? Not really. You'll add a tablespoon. There we go. 2 each. And this is going to help kind of kickstart it. This is good for the bacteria, that it will help it grow. And if you can stomach it, it's pretty good for your gut and helps the bacteria. Once you're getting this, now I personally have issues with this. Don't know why, just do. Okay, so let's mix in a little of the half and half and start mixing this up. And what I've seen is subtilis does tend to like float on the top. Now with this subtilis being a brown color, the yogurt is going to come out like a little bit tan on some spots, and that's normal for this type. All right, well, let me put a little bit in here and mix it up. It is going to clump up a little bit. It's already starting to propagate because the cooking times for these, well, maybe not propagate so much because the cooking time, l.reuteri cooking time, temperature cooking time is 99 degrees, which is, I think it's about 37 degrees Celsius. Subtilis also has a similar temperature. The only oddball is the gasseri. Now, if you were doing gasseri by itself, that would have a temperature of 108 degrees. Now, these are the same, so I don't mind using the same spoon. That's okay. So, I'm going to put our heavy cream in here. So if you cook that by itself, that's going to be at 108 degrees. And I'm not sure what that is in Celsius. I would think like 42, 43 maybe. I'm not sure. Alright, I think I've got that pretty even. Okay, let's add the rest of our half and half. So this is definitely going to be a thicker content of fat for the yogurt. Now, there's one thing that you should be careful of, is that you don't want to put too much fat in this yogurt because it has such a long cook time. It could actually spoil. You're like, what are you talking about? No, I've heard it from a lot of folks that if they have a very high fat content in their yogurt, it tends to spoil and go bad. And so that would really kind of stink if you do that for 36 hours. Okay, so we've got these in here. Let's stir these up as best we can. Yeah, this is pretty thick, so. Apologize, let me get the camera centered. Okay. So that's that. Okay. So the fun thing is about this is that this is kind of the last time that you're going to have to deal with this. When you make your second batch, this batch comes out really well. You get basically 8 portions in here and 8 portions in here. When you start to get to, say, you have 2 portions left, it's recommended, I would get, if you have I have the ultimate yogurt maker. It's just makes this easier to make this stuff. I ended up getting another set of these, so when I'm running low on this one, I get down to about my second. I have like 2 servings left. What I'll do is take the others, and I'll take 1 serving of that, and I'll split it and put it in both of these, and you just layer it on the bottom on both, and you add in your milk and cover it up and cook it. That's it. Very simple. It's like 5-minute process. So once you've got the first batch made, you're really on easy street. So okay, let's put our tops on. I'll air that out a little bit. There we go. All right. Let's put them on our yogurt maker. Let's get the other one. Okay. And this one, you have to have water. I'm not gonna do this without making a mess. Okay, so we want to add water above the line where the yogurt is, because we want all of it to cook properly. Right, where are we? I think that's got it. Yeah, okay. Alright, that's got our water. That's in there. And the reason you want to add it a little bit above is what you'll see is that with the yogurt makers that the steam will come up. So some of the water that's in there will end up coming up here and getting on top of here. So not all that water is going to stay there. So you just want to add some more to make sure you have a good cook time. Everything is cooked at the same temperature. So let's hit temperature. Let's drop this down to 99. And that would be 37 Celsius. Hit start. And this, increase this to 36 hours. Such a long time. But it works. Okay, and you hit start again. So now it is 10 o'clock in the morning. Sunday. That means that Monday, 10 o'clock p.m., this will be completed. This is a day and a half. So make sure when you're making this to make it at a time that you can actually get this, clean it up, and then put it in the fridge. So that means a time that you're normally awake and you're aware of it. So that way you can get it, put it in the fridge, and it will be good and won't spoil or anything like that. All right, see you in 36 hours. All right, it is now completed. So let's see how it came out. Not that great. Oof. Yeah, it looks pretty yucky. So this SIBO is, that came out a little bit better. So it looks like maybe we got one that's eligible, one that's not. Put this over to the side. That looks awful. And this one, golly, look at this. I don't want to touch it, but I don't know. Not very appealing at all. So I'm gonna stick this in the fridge and we'll see how it comes out tomorrow. Okay, it is the morning after. This has been in the fridge for 10 hours or so. And it still looks like a disgusting mess. So let's see. So it doesn't smell bad. So that's a good indicator that your yogurt has gone off the rails. It doesn't smell bad, but I mean, it looks pretty awful. What I've seen from folks, yeah, there's a whole bunch of whey in there. So what I have seen is this is kind of normal, and I think when you include a lot of bacteria in a small area, they all fight for resources and expand dramatically. But so this isn't a complete loss. While there is a spoon over here, I'm not interested in eating it. It's not bad, it just doesn't look great, and I would prefer to have a better looking yogurt to eat from, right? I mean, you need to like trust your instincts on this, because sometimes these things don't go well. If the smell repulses you, if the look excuse me, if the look is not what you're looking for, these are signs. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our starter culture. So I'm going to use, so granted I'm going to use kind of the same method, and I'll show you what we can do. So it's not a complete loss yet. We will try to salvage it, and then once we have a good starter culture and a good yogurt, we might be good. So I'm going to go get some more half and half and some more heavy cream, a little bit better quality this time, and see what we can do with this. So I will show you that process too. So you get two neat videos in one. Kind of neat, huh? All right, well, see you when I can actually get this stuff. All right, so now we're going to try our salvage attempt at this using our heavy cream and our half and half, which is half whole milk, half heavy cream. And if you hear loud noises in the background, that's my son. He is playing and being crazy. Alright, we're going to put this on the bottom. This is going to be our starter. Put all of this in here. All of it has bacteria. All of it can be used. That. And so that's more in here. There we go. Alright. Now let's move this around here, spread it out. Now this is chock full of bacteria, right? This is in the trillions of bacteria. So we're starting off with some really good stuff. Okay, there's that. I'm gonna add in our heavy cream and make sure we are doing it right. Let's see, a little bit more in here, more in here, and there we go. Okay, that's got that. And let's add our half and half. Now this will make a thicker yogurt, cheesier almost, because the higher fat content. So if you're using a double milk, you might want to put a little bit more whole milk in here than what I'm doing here, because your fat content is much higher than mine. Okay, I made a mess there. Let's clean that up. Same as that one. Okay, let's stir it up. Now this is still going to settle on the bottom, but at least we can stir it up and get the heavy cream and half mixed up together, and then start our bacteria. Now I'm not adding inulin. I never do on the second yogurts because it gives me trouble, and I want to eat this. So it's already got trillions of bacteria in here. You can add it if you want to. It's not a bad thing. Okay, let's got that. All right, let's put our tops on. All right, and let's go put this in our yogurt maker. Turn it on. There we go. And see, this is quick and it's easy. So once you have that first batch, it is very easy to get it going after that. All right, we're gonna put enough water in here to cover both, beat over a little bit, because you remember in our, yeah, that's very good, because it will steam up and that water level is going to go down a little bit. All right, so we're going to do this at 99. Hit our start. Do this for 36 hours. So 99, and if you're in a part of the world that uses metric, you're going to have 37 degrees Celsius. All right, start. That's it. Okay, Well, 36 hours, we'll see if we have saved this yogurt and see if it's going to become edible. Well, it's done. So moment of truth has arrived. Over 70 something hours of cooking yogurt to hopefully get something that doesn't make me silent like the last batch. Okay, so this is the second batch after the first one looked like a science project. All right, so let's see. Probably more eager to see this yogurt than have probably anything I've ever made. Okay, let's get it up. Well, nice warm water feels good. Okay, what do you think? Is there going to be disappointed silence or amused, quiet happiness? Well, what do we have here? That is SIBO yogurt. Look at that. That looks really good. How about this one? That looks equally fantastic. Wow. I'm actually surprised that we took that that mess that we had in the first one and we're able to turn it around. And the smell, oh yeah, that's a good smelling yogurt. That's it. Okay, I'm so eager to try this, but need to get it in the fridge first for a little bit and then we're going to try it. But from the looks of it, I think this is going to be some really great yogurt. All right, see you in a minute. Well, here we go, moment of truth. We're gonna try this yogurt. I couldn't really wait. Normally I'd keep this refrigerated for about like 8 hours before I even try it. Could not wait. So it's been in there just a little bit. So it's still a little bit warm. So the end product, it looks good. Definitely much better than before. It has, it has a decent amount of whey in it because, it's got a lot of bacteria in it. Both of them look really good. A little bit of whey. That's normal. You get that with reuteri, and that's a normal thing that you get. So here we go. So the smell is good. So that's my first one would be like, okay, well, what's the smell like? Is it bad? Does it make you like want to run away from the table and get some biohazard stuff? No. Okay, so there we go. So this is our high fat content. So this came out pretty good. So a little bit softer. Now granted, I haven't had it in the fridge for a little bit. I think if I'd had it in there a good 8 hours, it probably would have firmed up some. But I am so excited to taste it because this thing has taken what, 72 hours to make. All right, so here we go. Oh man, that's some good yogurt. Oh my god, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Okay, so I'm thinking best tasting yogurt made yet, period, without a doubt. So this is good. So it is possible for you to make decent looking SIBO yogurt. So the first one, of course, comes out looking like some science experiment, but you saw we took that and we took the wins from that one, put that in here, and added some more heavy cream and half with it. Oh my god, it is this does awesome. So I have to have some more. So it does have a little bit of tart taste. Not as much as if reuteri was by itself. but it is there. Honey is fantastic at masking that. So if that bothers you, put honey in it if you can, or if you can't tolerate honey for some reason, maybe a little sugar, brown sugar, something like that. Agave syrup is pretty good. Yeah, so this absolutely, without doubt, this is a winner. Put your money down on this one, because this is a winner for sure. So I appreciate y'all hanging with me for this really long 72-hour trip. Now, what you want to know is that after you've gotten this, you're going to make yogurt the same way as we just did in that little 4-minute clip right before we got to this. That's it. You make it like that from now on, and guess what? You're going to have yogurt like that forever. You're starting out with trillions, so this is definitely the way to go. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Appreciate y'all hanging with me on this really long journey. Took a good week, right, to make this stuff, but it's worth it. It is very worth it. All right, thanks. Y'all take care.